All right, hello everybody. Back to Bachi Chronicles. I made some videos, but I had some issues with the audio. I don't think I plugged it in right, so it was kind of messed up. So I'm redoing a couple of the videos. Hopefully the audio sounds better. So I'm gonna back up to, well, to the story. So I just started a new club. My friend who was running another club, he got some financing to open up a huge club in Yokohama. If it's about 3,000 people. We had all these plans for it, and he asked me to come on board to help out. And of course, at this time, I still need it because I don't know I don't know what's coming next for me. My player that I've been taking care of for 3 years is back in the States. Supposedly he's coming back to Japan, but it might not be with Yokohama. It'd be with like the Tokyo Giants or some other team. So I need to figure out what's next. Because I need a paycheck. So I agreed to take on this club, and it was started off good. I mean, it was a huge club. We had all these ideas, and we designed it. We really put our time into it. And then the people who are financing the club, who the guy got money from, I said they're not mafia, but they kind of did business mafia style. I mean, they're just powerful people in Yokohama. They owned all the real estate, and they owned all the land by the piers and stuff. So they weren't the easiest people to deal with, but I had no connection to them. That was totally my partner at the time. It was his senpai or something. And in Japan, there's kohai senpai. Senpai means mentor. Kohai is the mentoree, I guess, the guy under the mentor. So the culture here is if you're the senpai, if you're the mentor, I mean, you're the boss. I mean, you can tell anybody to do whatever you want them to do, as long as you're a day older than them. It's all about age. It's not about experience. If you're a month and 2 days older than them, you're the senpai. You could be working at McDonald's for 5 years, and if somebody's older than you comes in and starts working, you can't ask them to take out the trash or anything because they're your senpai. So it's it's an awkward situation. So anyway, these people, these were like his senpai. He knew him for years. I don't know if they went to school together or what it was. So we get the club, and they're wanting to do this customers or this promoters wanting to do a kind of a techno trance house event, and I personally stayed away from those my whole club career time because they only attract one thing, and I don't care about the music. I could care less about the music whatsoever. It's the clientele and their habits. And in Japan, you know, the laws here are very strict on anything like that, so you have to be extremely careful. I mean, you can't even be around it. And so I always stayed away from it. So even though I declined it, I told them no, we're not interested. They were offering a lot of money to rent the venue, and it's a new venue. They put, the investors put a lot of money into it, so they wanted their return. So because the investors knew the people trying to do the party, they overruled my my ruling. I mean, they overruled my decision, and they said go. I want to go ahead with it. So even though me and my partner were both like, this is just not going to end well, and I wanted out of that craziness. I just wanted I wanted to relax a little more. So we have a meeting with them, and you can tell they have other agendas to say, and I was just like, this isn't going to be good. So I told them, they were like, we'll handle security, we'll handle this one. I said, no, you're not. You're not handling anything. We handle security. We handle everything. They're like, oh, well, our staff, I don't want them being bothered. And I said, no, everybody comes in, gets body checked. Everybody gets checked. Because if I find one substance that shouldn't be there, club, it's shut down. I pull the plug on everything. And they're like, oh, of course. But, there are circumstances we're not in control of, basically saying they're not responsible if somebody's there that they know is doing something bad. So, they're just going to have people bringing in stuff that's not them, kind of, to make the money off of it. So I said, no, it doesn't matter. We will do full body checks on everybody. And if anybody gets caught, it's done. So it was kind of an issue. They didn't really like that. But, what can they say? I'm not going to break the law for them. So the club had an entrance, and then you go in, and you can go through the club, and then you go out to the terrace. So what I did was I moved the entrance to actually the back end of the terrace, so there was only one way in. And you had to go through like a tent, and then it was like a bottleneck. So I could make sure everybody was getting checked. And so they're coming in, and I'm running around, and it's a day event. It's not night. It's like a day event. It's like an all day event. So there's a lot of people, young people, because day events you can bring kids and stuff too. And it's a pretty good crowd. But I noticed that some people are sneaking behind the tent going through. So I grabbed, one of the promoter guys, and I was like, who are these people, sneaking in over here? And they're like, oh, they're the DJs. They're okay. I said, no, they're not. Everybody gets checked. Bring them over here to get checked. So he goes over there and talks to them, and then they just run into the crowd. So I already knew. So I told my security, find those guys and bring them to me. So we're going in. We're all in the club looking at us. It's a huge club. It's like a half of a airplane hangar type thing. So half of it is like set up just basic club, and the other half is set up as a stage with a big floor where like 500-600 people can just stand there and watch the show. And so I'm looking, and this kid comes up to me, and he's got a fanny pack on. Those were outdated when I was in high school. So he got this fanny pack on, and he was like, hey, you need something? And I was like, what do you got? So he was like, he opens his bag. And I was surprised, because if there's anything you should not have be anywhere near in Japan, he had it. I was totally, it was 5 levels above what I was expecting. So I was like, oh, yeah, but let's go outside and handle this. So he's like, yeah. So we go out, and my security see me, and I do the round them up. So they're coming to group meet me, and they're all coming behind me, and it's me and this kid. And we get out into the terrace, the whole balcony, right by the ocean, the pier, off into the water. The boats dock. It's dirty water. It's horrible. And why some smoke in my nose. I apologize. And so we get out there. So the kid opens up his bag, and he's like, "How much you want?" And of what? And he had a lot of different things. And he saw the security, so he goes to shut up. I was like, no, give me the bag. He takes off to run. Security just snatches him. And he's a short kid. He's really small. And they just grab him and take the bag off and hand it to me. Now, I don't want this bag. I don't want anything to do with it. So I'm like, okay, we just call the cops, but what do we do? Get the cops here and just hand it over to them. And I just don't know what to do, but I don't want it. I know I don't want it there. I don't want it in the club, and I don't want nothing to do with this. And so these bigger guys, kind of mafia type people, they see it, and they come rushing over to get the kid to protect him. And my security, stop him, and makes a wall, and it turns into like a standoff. And they're like, give him the bag. And you could look at the kid and tell that he'd been sampling his own products, or maybe he had a sugar donut. I don't know. I have no clue. And so I got the bag, and I'm like, no, you're not getting the bag back. The only way you're getting this back is if the cops give it to you, or So it's turning into a fight. People they're starting to get very aggressive, and it's not usual. Usually, but they know they need that bag because it's got all the money. So I chuck it over my shoulder, and right into the water. I'm sorry for the fish. I'm sure it's not healthy for them, but it was the only thing I could do at the time. And it turned into a huge, they went crazy. It turned into a big problem. And I called the cops, got the cops there. But by this time, those guys were gone. And of course, we didn't have any proof to show them, because it floated away for the most part. And I didn't really tell the cops exactly what it was. I just said, and I pulled the plug on the event, and I shut it down. And, and then they called the owners. I told the owners the investors, I told them what it was. They undersold the story a lot. They told them that I had made a mistake and thrown away some property, through some property of one of the DJs in the water that, and I made a mistake of what it was. And I told them, no, there was no mistake in it. Everybody saw it. And so the owners, it put them in an awkward situation, but, what can they do? I'm protecting the club and myself. And that was like one of the first incidents of the clubs when it opened up. Luckily, it wasn't too bad of a deal. And I shut down the event, and from that point on, most of the time, the investors listened to my advice after that. So that's that story, starting a new club. What a great start, huh? And so stay tuned. Catch another one.